Hello, everybody. Today, I have something very serious to talk with you and to think with you together about. As the people in Afghanistan are fighting for their freedom, it bothers me a lot, and I suppose it bothers you too a lot. You know, those Afghan people have been fighting for decades foreign troops, and now they find themselves having to fight each other with completely different ideas about their future. Earlier on, I read more than once that it was very arrogant of us in the West to think we could and we should impose our system of liberties, of freedom, of human rights onto other peoples, like the Afghan people, because they have a different culture and they don't understand these ideas. I have always found that very arrogant. No, don't misunderstand me. Not arrogant that we want to impose our ideas onto them. No, the idea that there is a people who don't understand the idea of freedom, that, I think, is arrogant of us. I am totally convinced that the idea of freedom is innate in human beings. We all want to do in our lives and do with our lives what we want to do, what we find is the right thing to do. And we want to think freely about things, and we want to argue freely about things, and we want to elect people freely that govern us and our country. So, as we now are at this point where the Afghan are really fighting for their freedoms, let's go back a little into history, because tyrannies, I have a feeling that tyrannies are as old as mankind or as humankind. No, I wonder. In this sense, I think, usually I don't like the word mankind. I think it should be humankind. But in this respect, mankind may be the more correct word here to use. You can go into history any time, any continent, and there were tyrannies. So it seems equally innate in human beings to want to have more than others, to be richer than others, to have more access to luxuries than others, and to freedoms of whatever kind. But for that, you always need other people who you assume are less important than yourself, have less right to these luxuries. And you have to convince them that you are worth more, and you have to subdue the rest of your countrymen and countrywomen. And as I was saying, you find that everywhere in history. But something else you always find in history. All of these tyrannies have come to an end. All of them. There have always been freedom fighters, rebels. And the word freedom fighter wouldn't even exist if there weren't. Now, of course, they've always been a minority. Yes, of course, because once the tyranny is there, it needs a lot of courage to speak out and to fight against it. Because you put your own life in jeopardy and also the lives of those that are near to you. And few people are born to be heroes or heroines. So they were always a minority, but there were freedom fighters. Wonderful word that, isn't it? Think recently, the Arab people, there was this idea, the Arab people, they don't have the tradition, the culture of democracy, of human rights, etc. And then, you remember, a few years ago, somewhere there was this spark of these ideas in the Arab world. And then, like a forest fire, it spread all through, it ran all through the Arabic countries. Unfortunately, not much is left of it, yes, but it was there in all of the countries. So yes, there are these ideas. And I repeat, what ideas? Yes, what is it all about? You want to decide about your own life. You want to decide for yourself what you're going to be. You want to be able to freely select people to govern you. And once you have elected them, you want them to do what you have elected them for. And if anything happens to you, you want a jurisdiction, you want juries, you want judges that you can rely on. And all of these ideas are innate in human beings. I am totally convinced of this. Now that the poor people in Afghanistan are fighting for their freedoms once more, we have to back them up, particularly the women. They are fighting perhaps the worst time in their lives once again. And we who are lucky to have been born in free countries, lucky, it's not a merit. I was lucky having been born in Germany. And you are lucky having been born wherever. It's pure luck, it's not merit. So we have to back them up. Find out in your country who is there, which association, which people are there to back those Afghan women up, and then go and offer your help. Offer money, offer help, offer influence, whatever. As a human being that enjoys liberties, it is your duty, yes, it is your duty to back up those freedom fighters in other countries. And on behalf of the Afghan women, no, they didn't tell me to do it, I do it on my own, but even so, on their behalf, I thank you for whatever you will be ready to do for them. Don't forget them. They need you now. Bye.